Welcome back to Just Scrap Radio on bjpenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Shelton. Episode 70. We got a really good lineup for you ahead of UFC Vegas 50 and Eagle FC 46. First up, we're joined by both halves of the main event of Eagle FC 46 and Kevin Lee and Diego Sanchez to preview their fight against one another. Really good chats, both of them, to talk about how this kind of came together. Both of them signed with Eagle. We talked to Kevin more about the move to Sanford, why he wanted to go to Eagle, fighting at 165, and how this fight against Diego is going to go. He's really excited to fight a legend, kind of a step down in competition is what he said, because he's been fighting just really tough guys in his last couple of fights. And for Diego, we talked about why the BKFC move didn't come to fruition. Obviously, he was linked there. Dave Feldon even told me that was the fight, or they were close to signing him. They wanted him versus Mike Perry. Obviously, that didn't happen. He explained why he decided to go with Eagle, why he's excited to be there. And they both kind of talked about fighter pay in the UFC. Both had some really interesting thoughts about Dana White and how the UFC's run. We're then going to be joined by Terrance McKinney, who's pulling off a bit of a gangster move, stepping up to fight Drew Dober on short notice, about a week's notice, just 2 weeks after his last win where he submitted for him in the first round. Drew Dober is a guy that's been in the rankings before on a 2-fight losing streak, lost to Islam Makhachev by submission and lost to Brad Riddell in a very close fight last June. So he's been off for a while. He was supposed to fight Ricky Glenn. Glenn pulled out. In steps Terrance McKinney, who's 2-0 in the UFC with that first round submission win. And then that 7-second knockout over Matt Frivola. He's in his last 5 fights. All of them have been in the first round. None of them have. The longest fight he's had is that 2 minutes and 11 seconds against Farisi in his last 5. So this fight has fireworks written all over. And Terrance thinks it's a white fight. He can go out there and get the finish and just really show the lightweight division he's not a guy to be messed with. And then we close things out talking to Damon Jackson to preview his fight against Camilla Kirk. This is a really intriguing one. Camilla Kirk pulled off that upset last time out, beating Makwan Amirkhani back in June in his UFC debut. Damon Jackson coming off the win over Charles Rosa, got back in the win column after losing to Aliyah Tapuria, which is obviously not a bad loss at all. Really good stuff with Damon about the fight, the division, and why he's kind of surprised this is the fight he got, but he's really looking forward to this one and making a statement here. But be sure to share the show, subscribe. Thank you all for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for another episode of Just Scrap Radio. All right, we're joined by now Eagle FC fighter Kevin Lee, who's got his first fight coming up. Kevin, how's it going, man?
What's going on? What's going on? I don't know if we can necessarily call me that, but we could just call it Kevin Lee.
Yeah.
MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Let's just say MMA fighter. How about that?
Obviously headlining this card against Diego Sanchez. Like we talked, like the day of that press conference, you said they floated out Diego. That was a name you're interested in. So how quickly after that did this get done?
Yeah, I was happy that they were, working with me in choosing the opponent. And it got done kind of quick. It got done maybe in a week, 2 weeks. So it showed me that they took it serious and was taking my requests and stuff serious, and my career too, because now this is like the perfect catapult into a bigger fight.
And with Diego, like everyone kind of knows who he is, like tough one guy, like just everything he's kind of accomplished. So like, what do you think a win over him does for your kind of career and like your start of your run in Eagle?
Yeah, I feel like this fight does a lot. Like you said, everybody knows him. He's well respected. You know what to expect from him. And, at this point in my career, everybody kind of knows me. You know what to expect. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to fight hard. And I think Diego will answer some questions that people, including myself, have about me. So when I go out there and I smash him, then it's going to not only, I think, it's going to build up my career, it's going to build up this whole organization and everything else that we have going on in this MMA space. I feel like we in a real interesting time right now in it. So I'm happy to be one of the forerunners in it, and this fight is one of them.
What have you made of Diego's run? Because obviously he lost to Jake Matthews, and that whole thing with Fabia is kind of the reason he got cut, not because he was like on a skid or anything. It was because of his coach, but like he's been pretty durable. Like even at his 40, like he's still showing like some signs that he can still fight. Yeah.
I'm expecting the best Diego. He's somebody you talk about, like he was the Ultimate Fighter, one winner. I was a freshman in high school at the time. I barely even knew what MMA was when he was, and for him to still continue on and do what he's doing now, he's getting my full respect. He's getting my full attention, and I'm expecting like a prime Diego. I feel like sometimes we don't necessarily know how this game works. It's different for everybody. who knows? He might come out. He might be better than he was in the past. He might be, now that he's got some of that weight shed off of him. He shed the last coach. He talked to me a little bit about it. It seems like he's in a good place, and I'm gonna put him in a bad place.
And 165, do you not think that benefits both you guys? Because both you guys always seem too big for lightweight, but like just a tad too small to hang with some of those big welterweights.
Yeah, we just one of the two people. I feel like you could probably point to 50 guys that this division is going to benefit. I feel like you can create more than a whole division off of this. So we just part of the catapult in it. The first Eagle 2 weeks ago had like a few fights at 165, and they were good fights, like really good fights. So I think it's just a start of a new division that I'm gonna be champion of real quick.
I didn't ever understood why the UFC wouldn't do it. Like it was the quickest way for me in my mind to get Conor a title shot. He could fight for that inaugural belt. You have like Colby could go, RDA could go, like Diaz, Poirier, like it would be like easily the best division. Like you would have went there, like it would have been the best division in their like whole company, but I don't know why they would never do it.
Yeah, and now you see everybody is kind of flip-flopping divisions, something that they avoided for a long time, but it's out of necessity, when you hear about like you just said, Dustin Poirier wants to go up to 170 now. He's tired of making that cut. It's so many guys that they could have did it. Why they didn't, I don't know. I think he's just stubborn as hell, to be honest with you. But to end 170 at Kamaru Usman, I feel like makes sense. There's a clear lineage at 170. You got Matt Hughes, you got George St. Pierre, then Kamaru Usman as great champions. End it right there and let's start something new. And that's what we're gonna do. So I'm excited to be the first one to do that.
And I know when we talked too after the press conference, you said you were going down to Sanford. Did you end up making that move?
Yeah, I'm here now. It's been about a month since I've been in Florida. It's been cool. It's been fun. I think this is a great start to another chapter of my career.
Well, what's that like working there? Because there's a lot of good lightweights and welterweights for you to work with. Like there's Chandler, there's Luque, like Burns, like there's tons of guys for you to work with.
Especially welterweights. It's a lot of welterweights. There's the Bellator welterweight champ. There's Jason Jackson. There's there's so many guys at around this weight class. It's been great. Like honestly, it's a lot different than training over the Extreme. I miss Extreme. I miss everybody that I knew there. But this is different. It's hard every day. It's a wrestling mentality. It's more of a team aspect than I've ever been used to. And at this point in my career, it was definitely needed. I needed to be around more people and in a team type of aspect. I feel like I've been lone dogging it too long, almost. Since the passing of Flawless, I kind of been out here just lone wolfing, setting up the training camps myself, finding the partners, finding the training. Like it was just a little too much. So this all came together at the right time.
And who is going to be your corner then? Because there's a lot of good coaches you can kind of pick from there.
Yeah, Henry Hoof definitely is going to be added to it. But of course, I'm going to keep Dewey Cooper. He's one of the two people that I always said will always be in my corner no matter what. So he'll make the trip over from Las Vegas, and Faraz Zahabi will still be in my corner too. He'll come down from Canada.
Are you like sending footage to Faraz and Dewey, or is that something they kind of know you anyways, and you'll just talk to them on fight week?
Dewey, we know each other so well that as soon as I hit with him once or twice, we'll hop right back into it. With Faraz, I'm sending footage back and forth. He's more of the mind behind it, the game planner. So we stay in contact.
Well, like I'm up in Canada, so I know how hard it is for you guys to get up in here. So like once everything clears, like are you hoping you can get back up to Montreal sometimes and train with Faraz?
At some point, yeah. Now if I'll do a full training camp there, I'm not sure yet. That part is still up in the air. But absolutely, I'll come back up to Montreal and train. Like you said, this whole COVID thing just really shut down Canada. So it took it off my radar as far as moving there and moving there permanently, But as far as like in the future doing training camps or just coming up there to train, yeah, absolutely. We'll do that.
And with Diego, like, how do you think you match up against him? Because I think a lot of people kind of think you're probably the better wrestler. Then on the feet, you guys, I would probably give you the edge as well in striking.
Yeah, when you talk about striking, wrestling techniques, I feel like I outshine them. Speed, strength, athleticism, youth. There's a whole lot stacked in my corner. But it's still a dangerous fight, and I got to train twice as hard almost. You know, it's sometimes it's harder to beat these guys that you know you're supposed to beat. But that's going to be an evolution in my game that I'm going to keep showing to people. I feel like I'm the most dangerous guy outside of the UFC at this point. There's nobody in the world that could touch me. So I got to make sure that I stay on point with beating the guys that I'm supposed to beat, because most of these guys I'm all supposed to beat.
And with this fight, is there more pressure for this one than most of your other fights just because everyone kind of expects you to kind of run through Diego?
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm not gonna lie, but the pressure makes diamonds, you know. So I'm gonna rise to that occasion. It is some more pressure though. I wouldn't lie and say it's not.
How do you kind of see yourself winning this fight then? Because when you go out there and you kind of perform your best, those finishes tend to happen.
I'm gonna hurt Diego. I'm gonna hurt Diego bad. Every day that passes by in this training camp, and I you know, you constantly you run the fight through your head, and every single scenario comes out with me hurting him really bad. He's tough. He's mentally tough. He can hang in there, but I'm just gonna break his body down to the point where he can't take it anymore. And yeah, he's gonna be in for a world of hurt.
Do you think a win here, your next fight, would be for that belt at 165?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I think at the end of the year is when they're targeting doing titles. There's a title fight underneath my fight, so I want to see kind of the logistics around that title. And by the end of the year, I might get one more in. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Yeah, what is kind of the goal for you with this? Are you hoping to get probably this one and at least one more? And I imagine.
The goal is world championship. To wrap that belt around my waist. That's number one. To be a world champion in MMA, I feel like now we're at this weird junction where we're separating from these big organizations. You know, it's long been known that the UFC doesn't have the best fighters necessarily. They just have the most marketable fighters, you know, but this is a big world. There's a lot of men out there fighting. And I got something to prove against everybody who wants to step in there at 165. So that's my goal right now is to be a world champion, and then we'll take it from there. I'll make a bunch of money, and we're gonna have some fun.
Have you talked to Khabib or Rizvan about who could possibly be next and who they're kind of bringing into this division?
No, we take it one step at a time. So I'll build the division around me. I don't give a damn who else they have. I don't care if they get ex-UFC fighters. I don't care if they get some new young guys coming up. Honestly, I don't give a damn. So we focus totally just on this fight now, and then afterwards, then we'll talk and see who else is out there.
I'd imagine though you'd rather just be on the Miami cards rather than going out to Russia, or do you like going out there at least once?
At least once. If I get that title in Russia, and have Khabib wrap that belt around my waist, that is just something about that, you know, to have who people consider the greatest lightweight wrap a super lightweight belt around my waist and do it in Russia would be kind of iconic, you know. That'd be kind of, I don't know, this stuff movies are made out of. So yeah, I definitely entertain a fight in Russia, especially if we end up going to war with them.
I'm sure you've probably seen their first event in Miami. That cage looks super small. Is that something you even notice? How do you think that plays a role in the fight?
It makes it a more exciting fight for sure. And it benefits my style. You know, everyone knows I'm right in your face from the get-go to the end. I'm in your face the whole time. So in a smaller cage, there's nowhere to run. And I'm a violent motherfucker. So this is just going to add to it.
Just a couple more things. I know you already kind of spoke about on your Instagram, but that whole thing when you got flagged by Nevada, how big of a headache kind of was that, where it's not even any performance enhancing drugs and they're flagging you and suspending you for that?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It still is. You know, the suspension is up at the end of this month. gotta pay the ridiculous fine and go in front of him and all that ridiculous shit. So I feel like that was also a part of not that it was a part of the release, but I feel like they didn't necessarily like me talking up and speaking up about having ADHD and dealing with those issues and stuff like that. I feel like that was something that they kind of wanted to keep under the wraps, which the UFC is known to do. And the whole thing was kind of a headache from that standpoint.
You can call this crazy, but like I kind of think you were partly released because of Ngannou and like you're rep by CAA, and I think they were kind of like, okay, if you're gonna be this big of a headache, we'll just cut your other big guy that they rep. Like, do you kind of think there's some of that too?
Yeah, that was the number one factor for sure, and I don't even think that's a secret at this point. Yeah, it was just a way to send him a message to say, okay, we'll do this to your guy. He's standing up for you. He's standing right beside you. He's on your same management team. We can do the same shit to you, even if you are the champion, and especially if you would have lost that belt to Cyril. Yeah, it was a message that they were sending to him to try and get the contract done before the fight. The thing with that, I'm forever gonna be tied into that Ngannou situation at this point. But I still stand by him in making the most amount of money possible. If he takes a $70 million fight next with Tyson Fury, then I can say I got some role in it, even as minor as it is. I was just a casualty in it. Makes me happy for it,
And with dealing with Habib and like Rizvid, like, is it a lot better? Like, because Habib's all about like relationships and like being loyal with his family and stuff, and where like the UFC's more of a business. Like, has it been a lot better dealing with them on the back end and like contract negotiations and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I say that we're in this transition phase, and from the business side of MMA, it's much better dealing with somebody when they don't just hold their power over you like that. Me and him know each other personally. We can have these type of conversations. With the UFC, there is no conversation to be had, and if that's the way they want to continue running a business, good. They'll keep getting these Contender Series guys, and they'll keep getting other guys that will kind of fall for that while they're broke and kind of need the money and will just take however you treat them. But I feel like we're going to be in a transition phase where you start seeing fighters have a lot more power to throw their own shows and do their own thing and work with the people that they really want to work with. And honestly, I feel like that's going to grow the sport. At this point, we're not just a fringe sport anymore. People all around the world know the UFC. So now it's time to introduce them to MMA. And I feel like that is the next evolution of how this sport is growing. And for me to be one of the guys to see it go from really nothing, the VHS, the DVDs, and into what it is now, I can see how much more room for growth it is.
Do you think we'll ever see a day where maybe not even fighters unionize, but maybe it is closer to like the NHL and the NFL where it's like a 50-50 revenue split? Just because like, even though people hate him, like I have friends that don't really know anything about UFC or their pay. When Jake Paul started talking about it, they were texting it like they actually only make like 12 and 12 to start. I'm like, yeah, it's like 12 and 12, 10, like, and like, especially you and Ngannou bring it up. Like, it seems like now the public is starting to really kind of see what you guys make. Like, do you think anything will eventually ever happen like that?
I think laws will probably be enacted to protect us against some of these things that promoters use against us. I mean, this type of stuff has always happened, right? Whenever you got the big promoters and the people that's actually doing the work, people are always going to try and take advantage. It's happened in boxing before, and what saved them was the laws, the Muhammad Ali Act and things like this. There's none of that in MMA, and I feel like the more people are aware and talking about this stuff, eventually some laws will get passed. Now, if a union is created, something like that, I don't necessarily know at this point, especially with considering how against it the UFC is and against calling us employees, even though you basically are an employee when they treat you like that. I don't necessarily know of a union, but laws I think will come out, and then I think you'll see a lot more people being their own promoters and it'll go the way that boxing is now, where the big fighters are the big promoters. They're getting the money. They're bringing the people to watch them, and we getting more of a fair share that way.
And just last thing, obviously, a guy you fought in Oliveira is kind of running through everyone.
Yeah.
Next up is Gaethje. Like, how do you think that goes through? And should he get past that? It seems like Islam will be next. Like, do you kind of see either of those guys being able to beat him?
Honestly, no. I think it'll take more Oliveira slowing down. He has had a lot of fights, and I think that's something that people don't necessarily pay attention to. He's had a lot of fights, a lot of wars, and he's starting to take up some damage. But as far as skill wise, I think he blows both of those guys out the water. And I've said it before, he's the most skilled man that I fought. And as soon as that fight was over, I was like, oh yeah, that's the best 55er out here right now. So I still feel he's still gonna be that after Gaethje and after Islam too, or anything like that. Granted, his body can hold up over some of his years of punishment that he's taken.
Well, Kevin, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for doing this again.
For sure.
All right, we're joined by Diego Sanchez, who's got a big fight on Eagle FC. Diego, how's it going?
Going good. Just training hard and putting in that work and sacrifice dedication, to go out there and put a show on, man. I'm 40 years old, and I learned from some of the legends like Randy Couture and Dan Hendo how to push the career, as long as I can, and so right now it's just about being in the best condition and getting the work and the technique and taking care of myself at the same time, not getting injured, not getting hurt.
Before we get into your fight, I just quickly want to touch on like this last year. Like, obviously you're supposed to have that Cowboy fight, then everything goes on to the UFC, and then you end up getting COVID really bad. Like, what has this past like 12 kind of 14 months been like for you?
Oh man, it's been crazy. It's been a wild ride of life. Wild ride of experience. And so, it was hard, man. It was hard, and I went through hell, but it only made me stronger. I overcame it, and even with the COVID was really. Hey, bro, please, dude. Sorry.
It's all right.
COVID. I'm at the barbershop right now. I'm with my homie Kevin Crane. He's getting lined up. It was a hard year, man. 2020, 2021, coming out of 2021, I almost died. So 2022, has been a blessing so far. As in December, I was starting to recover. I was starting to recover from the COVID, and right away in January, man, Ali hit me up. He's like, Eagle FC, they want you, Diego. They want you. They want your name. We want to bring you to our organization. We want to treat you like the legend that you are. And I was already in negotiations for BKFC, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, and that was going really well. And I had a nice bag that was ready for me to go do some BKFC. But the way things ended in 2021 and with my career in UFC, I'm a legacy pioneer of mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And so being a pioneer of mixed martial arts, I really felt it was needed that I finish the chapters, to finish the final book of Diego Sanchez, because I didn't get to finish. Everything that happened with my trainer and my manager and the crazy ordeal that I was in. Yeah, no, I didn't get to finish correctly. And I still had more that I had to give to the MMA community.
And when you get this offer from Eagle and you get the name like Kevin Lee, who's a big name, like what was that like? I imagine that has to be pretty exciting for you.
Well, the big name, when Kevin Lee was released from UFC, the press conference for Eagle FC went really well. And the media and the attention that he was getting to sign with Eagle FC, I was like, all right, there's something behind this. And I looked into it, and Eagle FC and Habib's Russian connections, Muslim connections. I feel like it's a good place for me, and it's a little bit of a cleaner environment opposed to Sin City, and it's a little different. It's just different. Habib carries family values, morals, integrity, and respect. And so at the end of my career, I didn't feel like I was getting that from UFC. So, to come to Khabib, one of the best champions ever, some people call him the GOAT, the real GOAT, to go and work with this man and his company and help promote something that's going to be new that can actually improve the sport of mixed martial arts. And I feel that he's going to do that with just having a straighter line. You know what I mean? There's, not everything is what you see on TV. There's a lot of strings being pulled, with $1 billion corporation. And you could believe it or not, but that is the truth, and that is what it is. It's a business, and it's just a business. And I wanted to be involved in a business that was a little more than just business, a family, someone who, will appreciate what you do for their company. I go in there and I have an exciting, stellar fight and just completely expand the viewership of Eagle FC. Khabib and Rizvan, they're not going to act like nothing happened. You know what I mean? I did this with UFC many, many time again, with epic, bloody, legendary fights, so I'm excited. It's a new space, it's a new place. We're going to be fighting in Miami. Hey, bro, please. Sorry.
That's okay.
Guys, but please. And so we're just, we're doing this mission. I got a good coach behind me in Frank the Tank Lester. He has UFC experience. He trained John Jones. He trained Cowboy Cerrone. He trained Mike Perry. He's put a lot of hard work in, and the way things ended for him and Jackson Wink Academy wasn't so good either. And the way things ended with JW and me wasn't so good. And so me and him, we've teamed up, and he's there for me every day, holding mitts. He's big, he's strong, he can handle the hits, and he's just a great coach, with experience. So it's good to have him on the team. I got my homie Kevin Crane. Kevin, remember the name Crane? It was a jiu-jitsu phenom right now, the high rollers champion, and he's starting his mixed martial arts career. So I got him down here. We're working the stand-up. We're working the ground. We're doing everything that we have to do because, I know in my mind and in my heart, once Kevin Lee realizes I'm not what he thought I was, that he's gonna. And then when he sees that this guy can actually strike, kick, punch, move, and fight ambidextrously, he's gonna be like, I'm gonna take this guy down. And so I'm prepared when he. The takedown's coming, in my opinion. The takedown's coming. I know it's coming. And I have my counter attacks and strategies prepared and ready to go and be victorious.
With this fight, I think a lot of people view it as Kevin Lee's, this is a fight for Kevin Lee just to win and Kevin Lee to get built up. But for you, what's that make you think? Because I've seen people go, oh, Diego has no shot. But, you look at your career, you've been big underdogs before and pulled them off. So, what's it like when people think you have no shot or don't have much of a chance in this fight?
Well, the truth is I have been an underdog my whole career. I wasn't supposed to win the Ultimate Fighter. Yeah. I was supposed to win the King of the Cage world title. I wasn't supposed to do none of that from little New Mexico, Albuquerque, no Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, no real professional boxing gyms, no real martial arts talents out here. We have our guys, but you know what I mean? It's Albuquerque was a thin, very thin group of talented coaches and trainers out here. And so I made it to the top. I'm an underdog, and I'm still an underdog. And the whole point about this, me being the underdog, it's an age thing, man. I'm 40. Kevin Lee's 29. So that's all I want to do is go out there, make a statement on Diego Sanchez is not just a dog fighter. Diego Sanchez is not just a mentally tough fighter, a physically tough and durable man. Yeah, I have those attributes, but I am also a skilled, cerebral warrior that has understanding for the concepts and principles of mixed martial arts. And I had to go through hell to find this shit. I had to go through hell to get my skills. I had to go through wars. Man, my body took the toll. Everything. It wasn't easy to get what I got, but I got something now, and that's why I chose to, even with the pay cut, go fight in Eagle FC over Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, because it is about my Sanchez legacy, the Sanchez legacy, everything that I did from the start to the finish, and for me to capitalize at the end with triumphant victory, it's gonna be a statement that cannot be denied. And so that is the mission that I'm on. That is the journey. That is the vision. And so I'm going out there to just use my skills.
How do you kind of see it playing out? Just because you kind of brought up earlier, but like, I'd imagine Kevin tries to shoot on you at some point. But like, how do you kind of see yourself winning this fight?
Well, I got many tools in the bag to win this fight, whether it be on the ground with a submission, whether it be on the feet with a strike, kicks, punches. All I know is that the guy that he's watching on tape is not who I am right now. And so if he's training for the guy that fought Jake Matthews, that's not Diego Sanchez at all. And with this, let's see, a year of retirement, I all I did for that full year was train my hands for BKFC. That's it. Like the one piece of the puzzle that I kind of lacked my whole career. I put the work in, I put the time in, I put the thousands and thousands of repetitions in, to really learn how to do this, in my opinion, the best that Diego Sanchez has ever done it. And so I feel that when I get out there and I'm in the fight with Kevin Lee, he's going to be very surprised on the speed that I bring to the table as a 40-year-old. I think he's going to be very surprised with diversity and dynamicness that I bring with fighting ambidextrous. And I'm not talking about jump and switch stance. I could fight both sides equally, perfectly the same. And so this is going to present things that, he's not ready for. And now it's the last 3 weeks of training camp, and they could do everything they can to prepare. And I could do everything that I can do to prepare. But we're going to go do war. And we're fighting a 3-round fight. So, I'm going to be putting my foot on the gas pedal. I'm going to be, doing the same thing Diego did his whole career. I'm a pressure fighter, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to pressure him. I'm going to put the pressure on him. I'm going to get in his face, and I'm going to hit him with stuff. And that's when I believe that the fight will change, and he's going to go.
I lost your. I lost you. Oh, I got you again.
Receiving a call. Yeah. No. I 100%. I feel that that's when he's going to realize. Most people, they go to their strength. When things aren't going the way they anticipated, or the way that they perceived things were going to happen, they're going to go to their strength. And I believe that Kevin Lee's strength is his wrestling and his athletic ability. And so we're gonna put my mind and his mind in there, because really it's the mind right here. You know what I mean? What kind of mental toughness do you have? And I have nothing but respect and honor and integrity for Kevin Lee. Thank you for taking this fight. I like Kevin Lee. There's no hate or resentment. This is the real, true Bushido way. I'm going in there to out-skill this man. I'm going out there to go and just put it together. Put everything that I did in 20 years of mixed martial arts. I just want to put it together. And I was always undersized for 170 pounds. So at 165 pounds, I feel that it's going to be the right frame, the right weight, the right frame. I think that the weight cut is going to be proper. And I'm going to go in there strong and healthy and give my best performance of my career.
You get the win here. Like, what are those emotions? Like, what's that like after everything you went through this past year too?
Man, it's nothing, man. It's no emotion, man. I'm fighting for my family. I'm fighting for my God. I'm fighting for my life, and that's why I'm still fighting. You know what I mean? It's always much more than just a paycheck. And I'm fighting for my legacy. You know, I'm fighting for who is Diego Sanchez? Who is this guy that, you know, did a lot of stuff in the UFC, but who is this guy now? What you know, like, what is this guy gonna bring? What is he gonna do? How's he gonna react? How's he gonna feel in a new space, in a new place, a new ring, a new cage, a new venue? Not Vegas, you know, like there's a lot of different dynamics that go into this show. And I'm excited just to go out there and give my best. That's all I've done my whole career, is give my best and be a fighter in life, you know. And life is a much bigger fight than Kevin Lee. Life is a much bigger fight than BJ Penn. Like, life is the fight. And if you don't learn how to fight for your life, you're going to just die. You're going to end up dying. And so I'm fighting for my life, and I'm inspiring the rest of the world to fight for their life, fight for their best life, fight for happiness, fight for joy, fight for your familia, you know, fight for the things that matter in your life, not just finances.
Just two more things. Like, you don't seem like you're really slowing down or really interested in retiring, but have you thought about like how much longer you want to keep fighting for?
Yeah, no, you know, it's just it's all about the body. You know what I mean? Because I want to do this for, you know, I got 3 fights with Eagle FC, so I'm on a mission to go get the 165-pound super lightweight title, and after that, you know, I'm gonna reassess and see what's going on, man. That's how we do in this game. You know, I might do a bare knuckle fighting championship after this. You know, like, I always did want to do a fight with no gloves. So that's a big possibility too.
And just last thing, like, for you personally, like, are you still disappointed or just mad about how this whole UFC thing ended? Just because you are like a UFC legend, like, you brought so many people into this sport. Like, are you mad about how all that ended?
Oh no, man. You know, there's no need to hold a grudge. A grudge will only kill you. A grudge will only hurt you. A grudge will only put you in the chains and the shackles of hatred. And that's not Diego Sanchez positive energy. I'm on the Diego Sanchez positive energy, infinite, universal, God upstairs taking care of me type of energy. And no, I have no resentment for what has happened and transpired in the end of my career with the UFC. But with that being said, I do think that there's a lot of things that could be improved in the UFC that they're not putting effort to improve. You know, I believe that it's just a business. It's just a business, and it's just about money. And I think that fighting is a different sport, and combat is a sport where men get injured and bleed and sacrifice their bodies for the entertainment of the masses and the fans and the building of the company. And with that being said, it's like this ain't some normal business. You need to give some care. You're gonna need to give some love. You got to give some family value. You got to give some seniority to a man that actually did something for the company, that actually helped with the expansion of something that became $1 billion business that was $60 million in debt when I came into it. You know, I'm like, I was a pioneer and I did do great things. You know, I was never the UFC champion, but I was a people's champion for the UFC for a long time. And before the internet came around, for all you millennials that don't know what it was like before the internet, there was a thing called cable TV, and that's where you used to watch The Ultimate Fighter on your TV screen. You had to get together. You had to sit on the couch. You had to go to a sports bar. You had to watch this innovative show that was the expansion. It was the expansion. It's what exploded the UFC to another dimension. And so on TV, I don't think that anybody's ever had more TV fights than me. And I did main event after main event. I did the Nick Diaz fight on TV. I did the Clay Guida fight on TV. I did the Catman fight on TV. I did the Ellenberger fight on TV. I did so many TV fights, and I just feel like, you know what? I just let it go. I'm happy and grateful to be in a new organization that values me and recognizes me for the legend that I am. You know, even if it's a pay cut, you know, it's about the values. It's about the real characteristics of this company and the core. What's coming from the core? Is the core just greed? Because that ain't cool. Is if the core of something is just greed, is that the only reason you're doing it? Is that the only reason it exists? Is just from the core energy of greed? No, that's not how Habib works. Habib was never about that. And that's why he was blessed abundantly, because he was doing it for his legacy. And now I'm in Eagle FC, and I'm looking to be an Eagle FC champion. I want to be the golden eagle out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm trying to be. I ain't trying to be that bald white-headed eagle. I'm trying to be that golden one. Eagle FC 165-pound champion. That is the vision. That is the intention, and that is the goal.
Just quickly following up on that, like, just a two-part thing. Do you think you ever fight in the UFC again, or because like I think you should have like that proper send-off, and then you kind of mentioned it with the greed. Like, do you see anything ever change with the UFC with fighter pay? Like, you see fighters like Ngannou stepping up. Like, do you think anything will ever change?
I don't really see it change. I don't see it changing. I don't see UFC changing. I see it going under before it changes. I see something newer and better coming that takes it out, or maybe it goes bankrupt. I don't know, but I think that in the end, you know, UFC, you know, they've done a great job expanding the sport, but it is a greedy organization, and how many billions do you have to get before you start paying the fighters more than 10% of the venue? You know, more than 10% of the revenue. You know, it's, you know, you got the NFL and the NBA. They're getting paid 50. You know, the other sports are getting paid 60. You know, like on the real, like UFC, they ain't paying fighters, and we're the fighters that get fucked up. We're the fighters that get fucked up. You know, and it's just like they just throw you out like a piece of old trash, and don't come back again. And I don't even got a fight pass. And like, can I get tickets to the fights? I don't know. You know, I wasn't an ass kisser. You know what I mean? I just did me and believed in me, and now I'm still here doing me, and the journey continues. You know, my story is told not so much on the internet, on these podcasts, but my story is told in person. You know, I like to look people in the eyes. I like to let them feel my energy and know that I'm not lying. You know, when you look someone deep in their eyes and down in their soul, in you're like, man, this dude ain't a bullshitter. This dude is telling me the truth right now. So when people want to know about my story and what went down with Joshua Fabia and all that, you get it in person. Maybe at the right time, the right individual, the right person that I trust, that I love, that I care about, that wants to listen. Maybe we'll put a camera on and we'll do it. But as far as that story, you know, it's a mystery. It's a mystery, and I'm a mystery man, and I got a plan, and I'm on a mission, fighting for my family, fighting for the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, my God up in heaven, who saved me from the whole ordeal with the phobia. You know, that's all Jesus right there. That's all prayers. That's all spiritual work. But we live in a world where people don't really like to talk about the spiritual side of life because it's scary. It's really scary. You start talking about dimensions and beings that are, you know, that are vibrating on a multi-dimensional level. You know, people don't like to talk about that stuff. Me, in person, I'll talk to all that, tell you all my stories, because I am one of the men that went down the rabbit hole to try and find my own spiritual truth. I got hurt in the process. Yeah, you know, I sacrificed my freedom even in the process. But at the end of the tunnel, man, I refound what was real from the beginning, and that was my relationship with the Spirit of Jesus Christ and God up in heaven, the Creator, And so people can think what they want and believe what they want, but Diego loves you, Jesus loves you, and you know it's all about that abundant energy, positive intentions, positive life. You know, think good, think bright. You know, like everything comes from the thoughts. You know, control your thoughts.
Oh, well, Diego, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Hey, Cole, shout out to BJ Penn, the real GOAT of the UFC. Me and him have had many of these talks. Me and him have gone deep as the abyss. And vote for BJ Penn, Governor of Hawaii. Come on, let's rally up. Let's get the right man in office so I can go down to the beach without my mask.
And Diego, I just have to say thank you to you too. Like you and Cowboy Cerrone are like the two guys that got me into this. Like I remember I used to walk home from elementary school and my dad had the Fight Network on and I used to watch like your fights and Cowboy fights. And that's how I got into this sport. So without you, like I would never be doing this. So just thank you for that too.
Hey, well, Cole, it was good talking to you. And, you know, if you ever want to do it again, you got my number, hit me up. And maybe after this triumphant, magnificent victory, we'll do another one.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, brother. Later, man.
All right. We're joined by UFC lightweight Terence McKinney, who's making a bit of a gangster move here. Terence, how's it going, man?
Good, brother. Pleasure to be on with you, man.
Yeah. Obviously, we talked after your last win, and you were kind of saying how you're either going to get in 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now. Like that was the plan. How quickly did this fight kind of come together?
Just this last minute, as soon as I saw that Glenn fell out, I was just like, I want that.
With Drew Dober, like he's obviously a big name. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, but you look at the guys he lost to at Islam and Brad Riddell, and like he's fought a lot of top guys. Like, how excited are you for this matchup? Just because he's a guy that's been in the rankings before as well.
Like I said, this one, the fights just keep getting more and more exciting. Like this one, yeah, it gives me chills. Like how excited I am, and like they say, you only get one opportunity to blow, you know, and who's gonna seize it? And I'm not here to just say I want to fight everyone. I'll fight this guy. Like, I want to actually show that. That's why I don't call no one out. But if the opportunity comes and the name shows up, just know I'm signing that line.
It's a lightweight fight, correct? Or is it a catch weight?
Lightweight, 156, man. Let's get it.
Is that something like, obviously, a quick turnaround, but you used to fight at 45. So, like, do you not think the weight cut will be much of a problem for you?
Not at 155. It's just the perfect weight class for me, honestly. It's like I'm healthy. Like, it's just perfect, especially because I just fought. So I was like, I gained like 20 back, but like also I was training. So I like lost like the 5 pounds easy. So like I just was staying at 170. So like this was just easy pickings, you know, for weight wise.
Oh, with Drew as well, like most of his fights, he does lose by submission. Like, is that something you've even noticed?
Yeah, I noticed that as well, but we're here to show the world we can do it all. So expect some fireworks. This has something spectacular written all over it. I see God moving in my life, and just getting this opportunity and him saying yes is like, it's such a huge honor.
You took this on like basically like 7-8 days notice. So like, what are you kind of doing in that time? Like, is it training or is it more kind of studying Drew and just kind of figuring out how you're going to go? Because obviously you still are in shape just because you fought 2 weeks ago.
But yeah, no, we're working on the game plan right now, and that's why you see me at the gym. We're training as well. Like I said, we're not here to stop. The grind don't stop. You know, God bless me the opportunity, and like I tell you guys, I'm not going to take this for granted ever.
Are you surprised Drew took this fight? Because it seems like a high-risk fight for him just because you're a guy that's only 2-0 in the UFC, and he's a guy that's been around, fought kind of the top guys.
And, yeah, that's what makes him such a savage as well, you know, and I got mad respect for him, putting everything on the line against a guy that hasn't been in the UFC at all, you know, so I appreciate him for giving me this opportunity.
Obviously, I know you like to strike, but even in the last fight, you kind of showed off the wrestling. Like, what is kind of the game plan here? Is it to kind of mix in the wrestling as well, or would you rather keep this on the feet?
It just all depends what happened in the fight. You know, my legs were swept out, and he kind of pounced on me, and so like I said, I just don't get one track minded. You know, I'm thinking the whole time I'm in there, and as soon as I hit the ground, the wrestling instincts kicked in, and on the feet, if he stands back up, the mixed martial arts kicks in again, and we're elbowing, we knees, we're doing punches. It's just we're ready for whatever the fight goes, and Lord willing, when we get the win, same thing is all glory to God. Like I tell him, they can't stop what he has in motion. You know, I'm sorry, it is what it is.
5 first-round finishes in a row. Like, is the goal to make it 6 here? Even though Drew is a pretty tough guy to get out of there early.
Now he's a beast, man. So I'm ready for the 3 rounds. He's very durable, but I think we can definitely keep that 100% finish rate come this Saturday.
Do you think because you're finishing all these guys in the first round, people are going to start being like, oh, wait till we see what Terrence looks like in that second and third round, or oh, he only has cardio for that first round? Because it happens to all those guys that get early finishes. And like, do you think that's going to happen to you pretty soon? And people are just gonna be like, oh, you just got to bring down to the second round.
Yeah, I love when people think that. It's not my fault. I'm not here just finishing people in 1 round. It's just preparation, you know. And like I said, God's on my side, so there's nothing to doubt, no fear to be held. Fighters fight, and I'm confident in my abilities to get the job done, or I wouldn't be fighting right now.
And your wrestling was always that people always talked about, oh, you just need to take him down, but they never knew about your wrestling, and you kind of showed that off in your last fight.
Yeah, that was huge, and because now I got the whole mixed martial art world on notice. So.
Your last fight, do you think that was kind of like a turning point in your kind of career where everyone kind of now knows you as not just this striker, now you're a threat on the ground as well?
Yeah, it's just nice because now I'm going to be taken seriously, and that's why this is really like a perfect fight for both of us. You know, I feel like right now we're both can hang with anyone in the top 10, and we're both showing that we can finish people. So like this has fight of the night written all over, and I'm excited for this one.
With Drew, like 2 fight losing streak, you never know when you get to 3 in a row. So you kind of expecting the best version of him out there.
Yeah, and I know he wants to right those wrongs. So, but also he better be smart because, as you guys know, I'm a dangerous man. I finish people, so he got to take that in consideration. We both got things to take into consideration, and that's what makes me so excited about this fight.
What do you think a win does for you? Because the only guys to beat Drew lately have been Beneil Dariush, Islam, and Brad Riddell, who are all ranked, and then Islam and Beneil are in that top 5. So like he's only losing to those top guys.
I think this catapults me into the rankings, at least 15, and then now we got a whole nother fun journey to go after that. Like I told you, top 10 in the UFC, and before the year ends, and we're taking the strap next year. Mark my words. You know, it's not just me saying it. It's just this is what God told me. This is why I started fighting, and I seen this when I died, and I just got to live it now and give God the glory because He's the one who's giving me the victory.
Something we talked about too after your last win was you were hoping you'd get a new deal just because you got those 2 quick finishes. Did you get a new deal because you took this one?
Yeah, I got a new contract. Yeah, so it was a no-brainer for me. I got a lot of exciting news for the world coming. And I got to make as much money as I can before then.
How exciting is that for you? You're already on your second UFC contract and you're getting these big fights, only 3 fights into your UFC run.
It's just amazing because God's not only giving me like favor to win, but favor like in the UFC with the fighters and people willing to take a chance on me, and I'm very honored to be here. And like I said, that's why you guys see me in the gym today. Like the weight's good. Everything's just looking perfect, man. Like I was in tears a couple days ago because like this is nothing. This story's nothing short but a miracle, you know. Just this whole journey.
like your story could easily be a movie if you get that belt. Like that's like it's like something like Disney couldn't even write.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what's cool about this journey. Like, people gonna know that I'm not at the biggest gym. I don't got the craziest, biggest coach in the world, and that's why people gonna know that God is real and that like he was on my side during this journey, and I want people to feel the blessings and feel inspired by what He's allowing me to do.
Oh, you obviously have very good hands and submission. Like Drew's only ever been knocked out once. Like, do you think it's more likely to get the sub than the knockout, or you just does it really matter to you?
I think yeah, most likely the submission, but I think we're definitely gonna hurt him on the feet, and I definitely know the speed advantage is definitely in my hands. I know he cuts hard, and we're gonna really push the pace on him.
You get your hand raised here, like it's probably rankings. I know you're not a guy to call your shot, but once you enter that top 15, like, is that when you kind of start planning to call guys out then?
No, same model, man. I don't call anyone out. I'm all respect. But if they throw their name out there and you're number 4 or you're number 1, I don't care. That line's going to be signed, and we're going to look to show up and perform.
When would that ideal time frame? Because you're a guy that likes to be active. Like you get out of here fairly healthy. Like you're a guy that likes to like you fight 4 or 5 times a year, and you're already on pace to probably do that again this year.
Yeah, I'm definitely want to get 5 fights in, like I said. So as long as I'm healthy, the fans should expect 3 more fights.
Final thing, last time we talked, you said top 10 by the end of the year, but this fight already happening in March. Do you not think you can be like well above that and be like near top 5? Because this gets you top 15. Like your next fight already could be a top 10 guy.
I know. It just like I was so surprised about this. It's just like, what is God gonna do next? Like that's why it's so humbling for me. And like every time a name's said, it's just been like, whoa, they already, like, geez, like, this is definitely gonna be, like I said, like you said, something worth putting in the movies. And like I said, this is all God's plan, man.
Well, Terrence, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
No problem, man. Stay blessed, brother.
All right, we're joined by UFC featherweight Damon Jackson, who's back in action. Damon, how's it going, man?
Doing good, man. How you?
I'm doing well. Obviously, coming off that big win over Charles Rosa back in October. Like, was this the right time frame for you to return in March?
I was trying to get in December, like in January, like February. Like I was trying to get in quick. I don't like having time off. It's just like you do all this training and you go so hard. It's like having time off is just kind of annoying, honestly. I was trying to get in February though. That was kind of like a realistic time frame. I was thinking maybe late January or February. But then this card came up and he wanted me on that card. So, and I was originally going against Joshua Cool. Yeah. And then so he pulled out. I think he had something going on with COVID, like maybe he couldn't train the right way, or I don't know. I'm not really sure. And so they got this kid coming up, and he's pretty solid. So,
are you a bit surprised you and a lot of your teammates aren't on this Houston card just because it is in Texas and you're like kind of the main gym in Texas?
I mean, like maybe old school UFC where they used to like try to sell out the place with local fighters and stuff like that. But I feel like UFC could take all Americans over to Brazil and they would still sell it out. Like it doesn't really matter. UFC, the brand is bigger than the fighter, and it is what it is. But like, I'm not surprised, honestly. Like whenever I first got in the UFC. Like a long time ago, I was really thinking that every time they came to Dallas or every time they came to Houston or whatever, they would put me on the card at some point. And, just after dealing with, different managers and after getting to hear and like see the way everything plays out, like they don't really need to have like local people because the brand is just so big that it sells out no matter where it goes. So I think that's what's special about the UFC.
And your opponent in Kamala Kirk, like how much do you know about him? Like he's fought a lot of good guys. Like he fought like Billy Q on the Contender Series, Kevin Kroom and LFA, and then he beat Makwan Amirkhani in his debut.
Yeah. No, I mean the dude's solid, man. I'm definitely, I'm gaming up for this one. This is going to be a good little scrap, and I think a lot of times what happens when you get two grapplers like that it ends up being a lot of stand up, and that's kind of what I'm thinking the fight's going to happen. Is that I'm not going to be diving in on shots because I know that his wrestling defense is pretty good. I mean, like solid. It's not like amazing, but it's pretty good. And then he does have a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so I think that it's something I got to be cautious about. I think definitely like as the fight goes on, I would see the fight going to the ground from me or him. So like I'm definitely ready for that stand up battle that I think is going to happen in the first and second, and then I think towards the end of the second and third, it's going to end up going to the ground, and I feel confident on the ground. He's definitely a solid dude, but my wrestling is better than his jits. So.
Yeah, that's something I actually wanted to touch on is like he's kind of known as a jiu-jitsu guy, but you're not scared to go down the ground with him. Like you feel confident down there.
I'm pretty confident. Yeah, I've been doing jiu-jitsu for I don't even know like 2005, and then I started wrestling in 2000. So, and I've been wrestling or doing jiu-jitsu every single day since I started wrestling in 2000. So I've been doing some form of grappling like literally 6-7 days a week for my entire like from then on. So that's 22 years of grappling. So I'm definitely game to go to the ground. And I'm definitely not scared to take him down and be in his guard or be on top or bottom either way. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time, and I don't really get put on my back a lot, but it's something I wouldn't be scared to like go off my back for a little bit, and I can always get up. I could always work my way back up, but a lot of people, whenever I get on top, I have a really good top control. So that's where my nickname came from. So definitely ready to take it to the ground, and definitely confident in grappling with him.
But do you not think like the longer it stays standing, the more it benefits you? Like I kind of think you're the better striker than what he is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that him being like kind of a younger kid, you don't know what he's just now learning. So he might come out in the fight and be like a completely different fighter. And I think that that's what's just he's got a lot of time on his side as far as like the way he can change his entire style right now. So I think that me going out there, I'm gonna kind of game plan for a scrappy fight in the first round, and then maybe if the fight is going my way, I won't take him down, and maybe he'll be trying to take me down, and either way, I feel good with my striking, but I feel good with my wrestling defense. So like if he starts trying to shoot on me the whole fight, then I might end up keeping it standing the whole time, and I just I want to go out there and get a win and get ready for another one, and I just want to keep staying busy.
How do you kind of see it playing out? Just because more times than not, when you win, you do find that stoppage. But like Kirk is a durable guy. Like only Billy Q's been
Yeah,
able to finish him.
I know, man. Like, so I'm 19-4. I got 17 finishes, and I got like it's something like I don't know the numbers exactly. Someone tagged me the other day. That's the only reason I even thought about it. But it was like I'm 19-4, 17 finishes. I had 8 in the first round, 8 in the second round, and like one in the third round against Bektik. And like I definitely finish people for sure, and I've fought guys with better records, but like you said earlier, he's fought some tough dudes and he's durable. So, and it's like the Charles Rosa fight. I saw so many different holes in his grappling that I really thought that I was definitely getting a submission for sure. I thought I was gonna be the first one to finish him with the submission, and the whole fight he played kind of defense. That whole first and second, he was just doing just enough to like not get submitted. And so, I think that him coming into this fight, he's going to be ready for grappling. So I think that that'll be one of those things. If I get him in a submission, it's going to be off him, being desperate and shooting in, or me actually hurting him and then taking his back or something like that. So it's definitely not going to be easy, but I'm definitely, willing to take it to the ground.
Your cardio is also something that's like a very strong part of your game. Is that something that you're kind of like that could play a big role in this fight? Is just kind of dragging him into those like hard pace fights?
Yeah, man, that's what I love running, man. It sucks because I hurt my ankle whenever I was like my senior year of high school, and I mean I ran all the time. I took 15th in state in cross country, and it's like a passion of mine is just running. So like when I have a fight, that's the only time that I make myself or that I like let myself run the way I want to. Because if I ran like that all the time, I would just beat my body up. But like whenever it's fight camp, I just get so excited to like hit those sprints and hit those long runs and stuff. So going into every fight, I'm definitely banking on having that cardio. But like my last fight is crazy because no one really knew it. But like I have no clue what happened. But like in the first round, I went out there and maybe I hit like a combo and then I took Rosa down. And then whenever I got back up going into the second, my legs were just like numb, like they were just like dead. Like it was like a weirdest thing. Like it was like I don't know what the hell happened. It was so weird. But then I kind of fought through it pretty good, and then I took him back down. And I realized how bad my legs were, and then going into the third, he caught me with the elbow, and then I ended up getting his back. But like, who knows how the fight would have went if I would have had to like stay up on the feet after that elbow. Like that would have been a tough fight for sure. And I'm definitely gaming up my legs. I'm trying to get them prepared to go all 3 rounds like full blast and get that finish for sure.
Where do you think a win puts you, especially if you go out and finish him? Because although Kirk only has 1 UFC fight, like it was over Makwan, who is like a pretty hyped and notable guy.
I was trying to get that fight. I was trying to get that fight against him, and because I saw that, I was like, dude, this guy, I bet I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up getting released soon. He's definitely he got some good wrestling, and he had a big win coming in. And I think that after that big win, he hasn't really done a whole lot. So I was trying to get that fight a while back, and I actually had his name on a little post-it note. Him and Charles Rosa and like 3 other guys, Billy Q. I was trying to get that fight, and but I think a win over him puts me like in a position where I can actually ask for another fight here in the next 2-3 months. Like I want to do a quick turnaround. And then after that, who knows what? Because it's like, I'm 19-4 with the finish rate that I have, and I fought some really big names and tough guys and everything. But like, I just want to go all in, like, and fight the toughest guys I can get to, and I want to fight ranked fights, and I want to try to work my way down this year. I want to be in the top 15. I want to fight someone top 15, and then maybe someone top 10. Eventually, like within the end of the year would be awesome. But like, definitely want to fight someone top 15 my next fight.
You're like always a very exciting guy, like especially at featherweight, and there's like so many fun matchups for you. Like, do you really plan to call anyone out, or is it right now just whoever the UFC gives you?
Well, like I think you have to be on somewhat of a streak to start calling names. So like, I'm only 1 fight win streak right now. So if I go out here and finish this kid and and look good, you can't, like the Rosa fight, I didn't really feel comfortable with calling someone out. Maybe I would have called someone out right after that, but like I think you got to go out there and get a finish to call anyone out and to like, or at least put on a good show. Like you got to go out there and have a really good performance that you're proud of and the UFC's proud of before you can start calling names, because calling names, it just kind of gets annoying. It's like there's only a handful of ways you get fights, and like you just running your mouth and like or like me running my mouth and doing a bunch of stuff on Twitter and a bunch of stuff on like media and right after the fight making a big scene. That's not really my style. So hopefully I can just win the fight and get a finish, and then get a hold of them, get a hold of Sean right away, and get someone in there, next few months.
A lot of good guys at Fortis around your weight class. Like, who are kind of the main guys you're working with?
Always Peterson. Like me and him have been scrapping for a long time, but we got a kid named Abdul, and he like not a lot of people know him yet, but like this dude is just an absolute beast, and he's fighting at 55, and I mean he probably walks around like at a welterweight kind of weight. He walks around just thick and muscled up, and got great wrestling, great grappling, and now he's starting to piece together his striking, and I think that he has a huge potential. But I've been working a lot with Peterson and Miles for their camp, and so they just finished up. And so now Abdul's fighting in 2 weeks, and I've been working a lot with him. And after he fights, I'll kind of be, backing off my sparring and stuff like that. But we have such a young roster that like I could say the names and you might not even be able to look them up on social media. It's like these kids are just little killers, man. They've been in our gym for the last like 3 or 4 years, just killing it. And some of them are actually fighting professionally now. Whenever they first came in, they were just amateurs or wanted to be amateurs. And we have like 50 guys on the team sparring and grappling and doing everything. So I've got plenty of bodies.
I know you deleted Twitter and then you got it back, like, because a lot of people are negative towards you. What kind of made you the reason to get it back?
No, it wasn't like that. I look, people say stuff to me and I'm like, dude, you just like, it's so sad that like people just sit around all day and like, and do whatever they can to like beat people down, and because they know they can't do it in person. It's like, so it's like, I personally feel like social media is like such a big joke, but it's like, it's very important to like keep your voice relevant and like to keep, your face out in the public scene. And like, like if you look at the UFC as a business, more than just like, like you trying to like get your local popular, your face out and people see you around town, they know who you are. But it's like, if you look at who the UFC and like what they're branding, it's like they have to brand something. They're branding the fighters, but it's under the UFC like name. So like if you don't have your name out there doing something, showing what you're, working on, or showing what you're about, they have nothing to build that off of. And I think that that's what's important, to like kind of, just use social media for like a business standpoint, and not so much as like trying to like show off for your personal self. It's like, you've got to be brandable for, different brands. You got to be brandable for the UFC, and you kind of, you got to use it for what it is. But it's there's a lot of negative with it for sure, but there's a lot of positive too. And I think that, after taking a break for that long and just kind of hearing people talk about it when I didn't have it, and like people, like so many people, every interview that I do, people ask me about social media. They're like, why didn't you have social media? Why don't you have this? Or like, what? I was like, dude, like, why is it that big a deal? But then I just think about it. I'm like, you know what? I'll just get it. I don't check it. I don't, I don't do things on there. I gotta get on my Instagram more than anything, because it's like, it's just so fast to like take a picture of like, I'm training a client, or like I take a picture of like what I did that morning or whatever. And it's just real fast. And but like, honestly, the reason I got back on it is because I needed to be more brandable, and I want to go out there and smash this kid, and then I want to be able to call someone out, and it actually be from myself, and not from, if I do this interview and I start calling people out in this interview, it doesn't really mean a whole lot unless it's coming from me. And people twist words around all day, but if you have a Twitter and you have a Instagram, you can go out there and let people know what you really think, and that way you can kind of have your own voice and make sure that people understand like where you are.
Just two more things, like featherweight or 45, like you always kind of make with these. Like sometimes you don't even need that pound allowance. So like I assume weight cuts going well, like nothing is there.
Yeah, for this fight, definitely. Like it ain't easy. Like that's what like
Yeah.
it really pisses me off. And like I'll tell Pierce, oh shit, are you there?
Yeah, your camera went out though.
Yeah, I went. My bad.
Oh, there you go.
So like the weight cut stuff, man, like it just irritates the shit out of me when someone misses weight. I told Pearson, man, like, what the hell, man? Like, how do you miss weight like that? Just like, just our gym as a whole, like we don't stand for that. Like, and Pearson messed up. I don't know exactly what happened with his weight cut, but he had some issues that, the last minute, he just was dying that last couple of pounds. So if he would have ended up sucking it up and making weight, maybe that fight wouldn't even happen. It's like he was having some problems. But like for the most part, like I think that if you're signed to a weight class and you miss it, like I mean, there's got to be some serious consequences with missing weight like that, unless it's just like, by like 0.5 or 0.2 or something like, something small, then maybe you can suck it up and let them go without, taking all their money. But like, it's just like missing weight is just, oh man, I've wrestled for so many years. So like, whenever I'd see people miss by like 0.2, and they would like, that's our dual point. So like we would go out for a wrestling duel against another school, and we would lose a whole match, which is 6 points for our team. And we would lose the match because this kid couldn't make weight. He couldn't like not take one drink of water, or something so small. So like for me, all the years of wrestling, it's just really disrespectful for your teammates, your coaches, your gym, and like everything. It's like when you miss weight, it should be like something major happened. And I think that's what happened with Peterson. It's just something major happened. He hasn't put it out yet. So I'll let him have this pass. But I hate people missing weight, man. It's just like, it's just like a pride thing. But like it's it's showing who you are. Like you got to go out there and you agree to this weight class for a reason, and that's why the sport is the level it is it's like everyone's getting together. They're making sure they're in shape. They're making sure their weight's good, and they're ready to fight for sure. And it's just you have one job really before the fight is to show up at weight, and then after that you go out there and fight. Whatever skill level you're at is what you're at, but you got to be at that weight class for sure.
Well, I've always seen people say for every pound you miss, you take a point in the fight because then that actually impacts
100%, man. I think take some money for sure, but I don't think you can't really take all the money because then it's like they have no purpose they have no reason to fight, So it's like take a point would be freaking massive. Take a point for every pound would be huge, and I would back that. If you want to get a petition together and sign that, I will freaking sign that, man. I'm just like. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing it. Like these major fights, man. Like, who was it? Like not that long ago.
When Romero fought Whitaker for the belt, he missed weight, and it wasn't even a title fight.
I know. That's what. Like, I mean, like, I don't know. I just don't get it, man. I really don't. Because like where your weight's at, like all the time. Like you check your weight almost. Like I check my weight like almost daily, and I really don't need to, but like I kind of do. Just jump on scale every time I walk by the scale of my house. In the morning, I get on it every single day. I know within 0.2 or 0.4 pounds of like where I'm at all the time. After I've eaten or drinking something, I can tell you exactly where I'm at all the time. And so like I walk around about 173. So for me to make 145 is a lot of freaking weight. And it's like, it's not easy. And so like when people miss weight, I'm like, dude, like, come on, man, that's bullshit. It's just like you're being lazy and you're not taking this serious. So like I think taking a point away from the fight would be massive. And I think multiple misses like that should be like something even more major. I don't really know exactly, but like the point system would be huge. That would be massive because it really is an advantage when you talk about like me cutting 25 pounds, like that last 5 pounds, like I legit feel like I'm gonna die. Like it's not easy at all. That last 5 pounds takes me like 2 hours. Where I might go to the gym like tonight. I'm doing a weight cut tonight, and I'll probably end up losing like 13, 14 pounds like within a 2-hour period, and like easy, like not even trying. Like that's just me getting on treadmill, getting in the sauna, doing that twice, and I'll lose at least 10 pounds like in an hour. It's like it's very easy to do, and so but you get down to that last couple pounds whenever your body fat's low and you don't have a whole lot of mass. It's a lot of weight, man. So. I back that point system up though for sure.
Just last thing, like what is kind of your goal for this year? I know you only had one fight last year. I know you like being a lot more active than that. So like what's kind of the goal for you?
It's so frustrating, man. And it's like, like I got that fight against Josh and then he pulled out. And before that, like last year, it's the same freaking thing. Like, you never know what people are gonna do. And everybody wants to be in the UFC so bad that they'll drag it out as long as they can. They'll do these like they'll accept a fight, and then when they get down to the last minute, if they don't like the matchup, they'll just pull out and say they got injured or whatever. And so like for me, it's just like I hope everybody steps up and just stays in the fights as long as possible, unless they have some real injuries. But I would like to at least do 2 fights, man. Like 2 or 3 fights would be amazing. But I mean, you're talking like what was that, 1 fight every 4 months, like 3 fights? That's super practical. Like I don't feel like it's like not that's very practical. I feel like that you should definitely have to at least take 2 fights a year. But I didn't want that. I was trying to do I was looking for short notice fights after I forget what happened. I don't know, something happened last year. Like I had a fight and then like they switched it up. And then I got hurt. Like I got hit in the rib. That's what I got hit in the rib right before the week before. They gave me Luke. I had someone else, and then he pulled TJ Laramie.
Yeah,
he pulled out, and then I had Luke. Luke Thomas, maybe
Sanders.
No, Luke Sanders. I had him, and then like I got him like the week or 2 weeks, 2 weeks before the fight. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. He's a 35er coming up. It's perfect. And then this kid, I took someone down, and when I took him down, I landed on my rib, and it just like it tweaked my rib, and I couldn't dig an underhook, I couldn't push away, I couldn't throw a good cross. And so coach is like, dude, we got to have this win. You know, you can't be going out there hurt like this, so we got to pull out. And I was like, all right, well, since it was short notice anyways, I'll just go ahead and pull out. And that was the first time I've ever pulled out, and like I regretted it all. Like, I mean, for the next like 3 or 4 months trying to book another fight, I was just regretting it the whole time. I was like, dude, I can't believe I pulled out of that fight. You know, it's just so frustrating. But I would never pull out unless it was something like major. And you know, I think that you know, me getting 2 or 3 fights in this year is very practical, and that's definitely my goal, is to at least get 2.
Well, Damon, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it too.
Yep.